Eti Sen is how are you in the Tree Akan language of the Ashanti tribe of Ghana, but also translates into Comment allez-vous in French, Ni hao ma in Mandarin, and Till your turn for those that know. Guests and collaborators are encouraged to take a step back and to check in with self. By checking in with self, you begin to explore how you're truly feeling, be it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and of course, physically.
Appreciate that, man. I'll go in on this thing, innit? So it's all good with me, fam. So let's make this a nice one, innit? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Salutations, peace and love, manners and respect to all you beautiful beings out there. Welcome to another episode of a podcast called Eti Sen. At a podcast called Eti Sen is always the first question we ask. So before I proceed, let me ask you, the listening audience, Eti Sen. Now that you've taken your time to reflect and check in with yourself, allow me to introduce today's guests. Yes, that's guest with a S. You know them ones there. There's 2 guests today.
Plural.
Plural. Yeah. So, it's a definitely special episode. We've got my man, Emane, and Enrico. So,
thank you very much for having
my
me.
pleasure, bro. Thank you very much for making the time to come and be guest and collaborate on this episode. Now, I've known Emane and Enrico for almost 10 years now. I've gone back, you get me, throughout the early 20s, all of that. Been through a few experiences together. But I'm going to pass it over to Emane. So we're going to have a quick icebreaker. I'm going to ask you, Emane, tell us 3 things about yourself. So it can be fact, it can be fiction, you can embellish it, whatever you want. So just tell us 3 things you want about yourself.
Okay. 1, I'm a loyal father.
Okay.
2, I know the streets. 3, I'm gonna believe that as a question mark, innit?
That's a question mark,
Leave you man hanging until the end of the show.
Say nothing. So,
there you go.
as Emane said, 1, he's a loyal father. 2, he knows the streets. And 3, you're gonna have to find that one out at the end of this episode.
Done.
Now, I'm gonna pass it over to Enrico. Same for you as well, Enrico. 3 things about yourself. Fact, fiction, embellish it, whatever you want to do with it. You get me? So tell us 3 things about yourself, Enrico.
It's hard to limit it to just 3.
Well, okay, tell us as many as
you
you
know, I
want.
had to go straight at the top of my head, you know, like.
Yeah.
I have to narrow it down, I'd say. Hard question. Professional.
Okay, yeah.
Gentleman.
A gentleman. So he's a professional gentleman, yes. And the third one?
What kind of bullshit is this guy speaking? And balanced.
And balanced, yeah.
Oh,
He's a professional
you know he needed to come back with that one.
Balanced.
You get me? I have to say gentleman, you get me?
Am I not speaking truth? Am I capping?
Well, you know, that was there. So we've got Emane and Enrico. We've got a loyal father who knows the streets. And we've got a professional gentleman who's balanced. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for sharing 3 things about yourself. That's with a podcast called Eti Sen. We're always allowing guests to explore how they're truly feeling, allowing them to take a time out from their busy, hectic lifestyle to do a quick introspection, to check in with yourself. What we normally do is we use the 4 pillars of well-being. So mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So we're just going to have a conversation, you know, talking about how we've been coping throughout COVID-19, you know, social distancing, isolation, having to deal with lockdown, and obviously how we've been coping and how we've been managing. So we're just going to have a normal conversation, and then we're just going to dive in and out of all of these 4 different pillars. So which one would you like to start with? Would you want to discuss the physical aspect first, the mental, emotional, spiritual? What are you feeling? I normally start with the physical.
I don't really mind.
I'll say let's start with the physical one then.
Yeah, start with the physical, yeah?
Down with the roller coaster.
Alright, so we'll start with Emane first, yeah? If we were to do a self-assessment and ask yourself the question, how am I doing physically?
Okay.
What would be your response?
how am I doing physically? Is in my physical attributes, yeah?
Yeah, physically, how you feeling?
Okay.
You feeling
I'm
fit?
feeling-
Yeah?
Feel fit, yeah?
Yeah.
Feel nice and fit. I look after myself. Do you get me? Sometimes I do lack, but at the end of the day, during the week, I make sure I do enough.
Okay.
Yeah, enough to keep myself looking nice, innit?
Yeah.
Can't be having that bare belly. I'm sorry about you bare belly guys, you get me? But I'm not one of you, innit? Can't be in that category still.
I hear you. So, for you, did you have a routine before lockdown came in? So it was easy for you to maintain that?
Well, I'll say my life's been locked down in general. So when lockdown came along, it was just another day to me. You get me?
Yeah.
I woke up, did more business, same thing. You get me? Just had to wear a mask, which is what I sometimes do anyway. So
My guy said
daily routine, innit?
nothing's changed for you, yeah. My guy said I had to wear a mask. That's what I sometimes do anyways. If you know, you know.
Yeah, I'm not even saying nothing, innit?
Don't say nothing, my G. So you weren't really impacted by gyms closing and none of that. You were already...
To be honest, because I have been trying to fix up my life in it, so it did impact me in that way of when I did my personal training course, and I literally had just finished it, got my certificates, and I was applying for gyms. And during that time is when lockdown happened.
So it affected you more from an employment opportunity because you got your PT qualification and you're about to partner with a gym and that's it. But in terms of your own personal fitness and regime
it didn't
and
do
routine.
nothing.
Alright, so you were...
It just slowed down my readiness to change lifestyle, innit?
Okay, and your career development. Alright. Okay, we'll come back to that. So, Enrico, how about yourself? How has lockdown impacted your physical fitness? And if you were to do a self-assessment of your physical fitness, what would be your response? Like, how would you respond? And if you ask yourself, how am I feeling? It's about the feeling first.
I wish we had the camera.
The feeling right now.
Yeah?
I'm not in 100% shape, I can tell you that.
Okay.
I'm not like you, man. No. I'm a bit more relaxed with my physique and where I want to be, and you know. So I'm more laissez-faire in that respect. So
I understand.
I'm the sort of person that I work towards targets or aims. So if I have like a holiday or I have something important
I hear you.
to work towards, I will go hard. And I'll go hard in the gym. You know, build up a lot of mass. I bulk quite quickly.
Okay.
And then once it's all over, I just relax.
Okay.
I take my time, let it all go.
I hear you. So obviously lockdown.
You let it go, yeah.
I like cheesecake.
Huh?
Cheesecake's too important, man. Cheesecake's too important. Cheesecake, Oreo cake.
Everyone out there knows what
Like,
cheesecake
please.
means,
Yeah, but if you're having cheesecake, that means you have to go a bit more harder, innit?
Huh?
What does cheesecake mean?
Cheesecake means cheesecake to me, bro. I don't know what it means to you, mate. But
Cheesecake is cheesecake in my land.
so your physical you're content with your physical fitness because you understand yourself. You understand your triggers. You're the type that knows that if you had a target, let's say we had a holiday or we had a getaway, we're going somewhere, or you have festivals season or summer coming and you're going to be doing things, then you obviously get your body ready for that. But because of lockdown, we've not had anything to do for about a year now, so motivation is a bit lacking.
Again, like there's no real impetus to sort of to hit peak or physical, form, because the people who work out a lot and over time, especially somebody like Emane, like
over
they
time.
know that they're not in the peak shape at all times. You do have your peaks and your downs.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like someone who's
like a
professional or
old
someone
man
who's not.
Yeah.
The distance
like a
in
coach.
peaks are a lot.
Retired coach.
No, I think the point he's making is for him, he understands himself in it. At the moment, he's fine with his physical condition. He knows he's not in the peak physical condition, but that's because he's had no targets.
You ain't got a bare body,
And-
so you're good.
Yeah. As long as you're aware of it and you obviously know that you can switch it back on when you have to, innit?
Right now, I did my tricep, and it's annoying because I actually had started training, started eating to bulk,
So when you say you did your tricep, you injured it.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
I say too much too soon.
Okay.
That's another thing to tell people.
You've been
Do
doing
not
a
do
bit
too much too soon. It's good to
You need
protract it. Yeah.
Okay. So you need to,
Slowly into it.
you need to phase it. You need to
Yes.
do it in phases.
Do you still
Don't do
beat
the same
though?
body part too.
Do you still beat though? Do you still beat with your triceps all fucked up?
Yeah. What kind of question is that?
I'm hearing excuses about working out, but you still work yourself out every night, don't you? There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, next one.
It's an interesting perspective that Emane is trying to make you be aware. So, as you've heard, Emane is pretty much still in a very good physical condition. He's been able to maintain it throughout lockdown because he already had a routine in place anyway, and lockdown didn't really affect his personal routine. It more affected his employment opportunities and career development because he's a certified personal trainer. And Enrico, on the other hand, he has fluctuations in his physical fitness naturally anyway, and he normally is a type that is motivated by having plans in the future regarding holidays, summer, so different people. So it's
to have a
target, a goal.
Stimulus.
Yeah.
A stimulus, you're right.
Okay. So it gets like that sometimes, and that's what I try to encourage. It's about knowing yourself. It's about being aware of your own triggers, what motivates you, what gives you that ginger to do what you need to do, and just spend some time and get to know yourself. Self-love, innit? Know yourself and do the things that's best for you. You understand? So that was physical. We're going to now dive and go into the emotional. Yeah. So we're going to talk about emotional well-being. If you were to do a self-assessment and ask yourself the question,
how you are doing
emotionally, what would be your response? I think this time we'll start with Enrico.
Let's
Enrico, self-assessment time. Question 1. What would you rate yourself emotionally?
Once we're doing this thing, yeah?
It will pick it up all on the mic, innit? But don't worry, as I said, today's episode is a different one, innit? You get me? So do whatever makes you feel at home, my G. So, emotional health, what would be your self-assessment? What would you rate yourself? How are you feeling emotionally?
I would say 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? Okay.
And again, I'd say that with anything in life, or most things, there's fluctuations, people go through the down days, your up days. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain, as they say.
So how are you yourself as an individual? Are you someone that reacts and responds to like stimulus? Are you quick to anger? Are you the type that is a bit more reserved? Are you sensitive? You get me? What are you? If someone was to get on your nerves, get you angry, you can be like, yo, pissing me off, like watch yourself, keep it down, or you know what, I'm just gonna ignore this idiot and just keep it on the low.
You see, I'm the sort of person that thinks about the bigger picture, first and foremost.
Yeah.
But everyone has their triggers, so I have my pet peeves.
Okay.
In most situations, I'm pretty calm.
Okay.
It takes a lot to.
So your default, your default is calm, yeah.
I'm not one to just anger like that.
Okay.
But there's just certain things that can trigger.
Okay. And you know this, and that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
It's about knowing your triggers, as I keep mentioning. That's a theme, so that when you're in that situation, you're present in the moment and you understand, okay, this is why I'm feeling like this at the moment. Now it's time for me to make that choice. Am I going to allow it to take control over me, or am I going to try and maneuver my way through it? So is there anything that you've been doing to work on these triggers? Are you aware? Are you trying to do anything about it, or you're just like, you know what, not just me?
No, but the thing is, in normal life, those triggers wouldn't really occur. I always say, like, things like gross disrespect, that's a trigger.
Okay.
That can happen in lockdown and in not lockdown, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't happen often, obviously, because I'm the sort of person that very calm, but can go from 0 to 100 in the once in the blue moon, which is why I like to be a person who's not quick to anger.
Okay.
His temper doesn't trigger. I don't do things in half measures.
No, he does think about things a lot before he switches it. He's one of those guys who takes his time.
So he's a thinker.
Quite methodical.
Okay. Unlike when he was younger, like, do you get me? Days where he just wants to fight as well.
Those were those days.
So you've got some emotional maturity now.
Yeah, no. Over the years, I've grown a lot.
Too much. Man, this guy, you can say king of the jungle to a little booty cat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
Not in that far a sense, but like, let's just say beef comes, you're not getting involved, but you'd be like, listen.
So he's just a bit more tamer. He's been tamed.
No more, so you might handle that. I work in the city,
Well, like Enrico, must have to get some emotional maturity, and as Emane said, back in the day, he would have handled certain situations a bit different, but now he's obviously elevated his vibrations now, so he's on a different plane. So that's good. It's good to know that you have your pet peeves, as you said, and you deal with it when you have to. You're very methodical. You think things through before you react. Now, Emane, you had a lot to say about Enrico's emotional well-being. So now I'm going to give you
I was in a way temporarily agreeing with him, innit? Like, that is how he is, innit?
Okay.
He has grown.
So can we now ask you the same question? If you were to do a self-assessment on your emotional maturity, on your emotional well-being as well, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put it? With 0 being poor and 10 being excellent.
Okay, I can't say I'm excellent, innit?
Okay.
Honestly speaking.
Yeah.
I've come a long way, but I've actually had to travel a long way, even before lockdown. So when lockdown came, it gave me a chance to actually sit down in my yard and think about myself, not have to leave my house and go work and do the 9 to 5, but I had a chance to sit at home and think about me, how I act, how I speak, how people see me, my attitude.
So you put the microscope on yourself.
Yeah.
That's how it should be sometimes, yeah.
And really and truly, I was just had to take that time out to myself, innit? But at the same time, I still had to make money and do what you have to do, innit?
So back to the original question. What would you rate your emotional well-being? Do you think
7.
it's 7? Okay, so that's good.
7 is 6.
Yeah?
Because I know I'm a strong, mental guy, innit?
Okay.
And I feel like I'm only just above halfway.
So are you reserved? Are you quick to react? Are you...
right now I'm quite good. Like, I'm settled.
You're settled,
If you want to say how much I'm in control, I would say 9.
9, okay.
Yeah, like...
So you've matured emotionally.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, through speaking to people, hanging around the right people.
Okay, so that's a very important thing Emane just said. He's had to learn to spend some time with himself and start looking at his own behavior, his own character.
That's what you gotta do, guys.
He stopped looking out and start looking at external factors and start blaming everything outside of him.
And the other thing that you notice is not always like we always look for someone to blame. At the end of the day, you're to blame. Like, I'm always to blame for the things that are happening around me, because at the end of the day, if I acted different or did it differently, then the circumstances would have been different.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I had to look at that in order to change myself, in order to better myself. And that's why I feel like I'm a 9 in control. But in my mindset in itself, I'm a 6 or 7. I know there's a lot more I can gain.
That's very, very, very honest of you. Thank you for sharing. Emane is alluding to responsibility and personal accountability. So in every situation in life, although you may seem that you don't have a choice, the situation itself, you may not have a choice in the situation presenting itself, but in how you respond to the situation, at least you can decide how you choose to respond then. So it's always good to know yourself, but it's always also essential for you to have an action plan in place on how to grow and develop. It doesn't have to happen overnight. It doesn't have to be instantaneous. But it's something that you have to be...
It can be in a war in yourself, when it comes to emotions. It can be a war within yourself.
Yeah, trust me,
people out there who have anxiety over that.
Yeah.
So you guys are not alone. At the end of the day, you just have to speak and be real about it. Don't lie about it, you just have to be real. If you don't want to speak to someone about it, you speak to yourself about it.
And don't lie to yourself. Remember, you can't lie to yourself, so be real with yourself.
Trust me.
So communication is key. Find a support group of people.
Coach yourself.
Yes.
One big thing, coach yourself. Yeah.
Personal responsibility and accountability, as Emane is saying.
100.
You have to take ownership of your situation. Have a support group. A support group can be anything: your friends, your acquaintances, family, work colleagues, people.
It could be a simple chat you have with like your close cousin or anyone close.
Exactly.
You don't even have to tell them everything. by opening up to them, they may open something up to you, which helps your circumstance.
Nice. Thank you very much for sharing, Emane. So we've tapped on the physical well-being, we've tapped on emotional well-being. We're now gonna jump into spiritual.
Ooh, this is a nice one.
Yeah. So a lot of people relate or put spirituality and religion in the same brackets, because obviously in religion talk about spirits as well. But for me, spirituality can be separate from religion. But most of us, especially of a certain culture, background, have been conditioned in a certain way whereby religion is pretty much seen as spirituality. But anyway, to ask yourself, we'll start with Emane this time. How would you rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10? Your spiritual well-being. How are you feeling spiritual? Do you feel in tune with the divine order, with the intelligent order, with God, with Allah, with Yahweh? I don't know what your religion is, but how would you define your spiritual relationship? Is it good? Is it okay? Is it lacking? What would you say?
Spiritual relationship with who? With like
your personal spiritual relationship with wherever you have a relationship with.
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's a good one then.
That is a tough one still, because
the
way my mum believes in God.
Forget your mum, you're right now. It's about you right now.
No, that's what I'm saying. That is a small explanation, Carl. Like you said, like the way she explains it in going to church and everything, and by listening to the Bible and listening to what the priest says. And obviously, I found it in a way that I've had to ask myself, why are we on this earth, innit? I mean, not one person could really answer that question, like what is the goal of a human?
Yeah. As I said, there's a lot of theory out there, but there's a lot of reasons why we exist, depending on your
beliefs or
belief system and your exposure to certain information, especially those that are characterized as conspiracy. Some people believe that we actually were created by dust. Some believe we were seeded by extraterrestrials, but as I said, depending on your exposure, depending on what you've been privy to.
Trust.
So
I've boiled it down to like whatever it is, I don't really care.
Okay.
Like it's just boils down to good and bad, innit?
Do you consider yourself spiritual first of all?
I won't say I do any of the stuff like.
Do you meditate? Do you pray?
I don't meditate.
I do pray. Okay.
I don't meditate, I do pray, but when I pray, it's like, it's a heartfelt prayer, and like, I don't pray, like, it's not a joke, innit?
Okay.
Like, I pray for real, innit? It's like, I'm talking and asking for good things for the people around me. You know, I'm not praying for anything selfish, I pray just for people to get, like, the little things that they need, innit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a little bit of hope.
Okay, so in that sense...
yeah, I'm spiritual, I just want good for the world, and I feel like this world is just a test.
Do you feel there's an opportunity for spiritual growth? Do you think you can be more in tune with 100%. Nature, being more in tune with yourself, be more in tune with your intuition?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of growth that I can do.
Okay. Yeah. So, would you consider your spiritual well-being as okay, as good, as content, as...
Well, which one? Will take me up the ladder.
So, spiritual well-being, excellent. Spiritual well-being, good. Spiritual well-being is okay. Spiritual well-being is
after
good.
Excellent, you went to good,
Yeah.
Okay, one after the top.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good.
Yeah, 8 is 9ish actually.
Okay, so that's nice. So spiritual well-being for Emane, that's looking real nice. It's looking real healthy out here. We're looking at 8, 9 out here.
Out here helping other people. You
get me? He's even gone past asking for his own divine growth. He's actually asking for the collective growth of people within his circle and within his community.
Trust me.
So Enrico, spiritual well-being. If you were to do a self-assessment and ask yourself the question, how am I feeling spiritually? How am I doing? What would be your response?
8 out of 10 once again.
8 out of 10, yeah. So we're looking at good to excellent.
That's not bad, you know.
Yeah, so...
You want to elaborate a little bit?
Thank you, Emane. You want to elaborate a little bit? So you saw that...
What are you looking for more specifically?
So I'm asking, so for your spiritual believing, first of all, you can answer both. Do you consider yourself spiritual or religious? if you understand the difference, what would you consider yourself? Are you more religious or are you more spiritual? Were you brought up religious, and as you've grown and become your own person, you've evolved to be more spiritual than religious? Because religion is more dogmatic. There are set standards, there's set way of life. There is
believers, I'm not gonna lie about.
So that's a personal opinion of yours.
Not personal opinions. They need to learn their history, bro.
Facts. That's facts. That's facts. But once again, everyone is entitled to believe whatever they want to believe, and ignorance is indeed bliss.
That's why there's gays out there, isn't it?
Once again, everyone is entitled to express themselves however they want to express themselves. That's why it's called freedom of expression.
Do not support these views.
So yeah, it's all about yourself.
That
you
your ass up.
Do not support these views. Don't bring me in your nonsense.
The views expressed by Emane and this podcast do not reflect the views of this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. Or Enrico.
So, would you consider yourself spiritual first?
Spiritual? Mm-hmm. Yes. Religious, no. And the reason why with religion means different things to different people.
Yeah.
And it's very subjective and very ingrained. Like, so indoctrination, how, your doctrines for life. Everyone's is different. The way I like to look at things is everybody wants hope. Everybody wants to believe in something. Everybody wants an understanding of why they're here and what their purpose in life is. And I believe that different groups around the world have come up with different interpretations. Yeah. And I believe that their base source is from the same, but as time has gone by, what has been passed down to us has been manipulated, corrupted, transformed to a point now that it's unrecognizable from its source form. So what I take all of that out of all of that, that it may be nearly impossible to know the truth, in the holistic form. But my belief is truth to me. Okay. And because of that, spiritually, like in terms of spirituality, I'm okay and contented to know that I don't know it all. Okay. Yeah. And know that I may not know it all in terms of all the key questions we ask, like why we're here. And what came in the beginning, blah blah blah. But I'm okay with knowing that I don't know, that I can seek to know as much as I can.
Okay, so you all both identify that there's an opportunity for spiritual growth, but 100%. Where you are right now, you're not in, I'm just going to say, in no rush. You don't think that you're lacking anything. You have a fair understanding of spirituality and religion. And
I'm lacking one thing.
Indeed, and I believe fundamentally that there's purpose for life and for my life, and that I've achieved a lot so far, but there's so much more to achieve, and I believe that applies to most people. Okay. I would say all about most.
So Emane, you're gonna add something before James.
I was gonna say basically, I would say there's one thing that I lack, that I know that I lack, which is what I try to work on, like you say, daily, because it's something that's within myself in it, which is faith. I lack faith, and that's just through the pain I see other people in, and sometimes you see people in their situation, and from the way I know religion, that's why I don't like religion, the way I know it to be, because you start judging people by what you see and the way they act, when deep down there's a lot more to it. Do you get me? Yeah. And really and truly, when you sit down with those people that other people may call psychos, or when you sit down with them, they're actually good, genuine people who just are a bit lost and they need guidance. Yeah. Do you get me? And the system and the people that they had hope in had let them down, and all they're doing is expressing their pain the only way they know how to. Do you get me? So that drops my faith when I think about God and all of that. But really and truly, I know there's a deeper meaning to it, but it does hurt. And it does sometimes drop my faith when I see people in agony, or people hurting in situations that can be stopped. Not by a higher force, innit? Maybe I ain't got the power to, but I feel
you feel that you can influence their life in a positive way.
Yeah, that's why I step out to help people at times. But you know what I'm saying? Some people are really broken.
Yeah, so
like, how can God judge them when he knows their past? He knows what they've been through. He knows why they're broken. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. That's a very interesting analysis by Emane. As Enrico also mentioned, the source of most of our faith in terms of the books of the Bible, the words in the Torah, in the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, whatever the Buddhist teachings, Taoism, understand there's several religions, several schools of beliefs, and it makes it quite challenging for you to understand which one is the way. So as Enrico mentioned as well, there is no such thing as one way because there's so many different ways anyway. So initially, first of all, it's for you to identify your own relationship that you have with nature, with the intelligent order, with God, with the supreme being, whatever you want to call it. Whatever label you have for yourself first doesn't matter. Intuition, energy, how you react and how you relate with the world in general. Are you able to command your reality? Are you able to manifest what you're thinking in your mind for it to become real to you in the physical realm? So there's several permutations about religion and spirituality. Most of us are encouraged to hand it over to God and pray to him and beg him and ask him for favors because we feel as if we're powerless to do anything ourselves. But at the end of the day, as you said, spirituality there's a very thin line between spirituality and religion. And our discussion has made it very clear that you can really see it in so many different ways. But it's just about you knowing yourself where you stand. And it looks like both Enrico and Emane are good spiritually. All three of us actually were brought up as Christians, and as we've grown up, developed our own understanding of a religion and also spirituality based on our individual experiences and sometimes collective experiences. So thank you guys very much for being honest. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for also expressing your true feelings without holding back. I know Emane is raw and unfiltered, and as Enrico said, he's a professional gentleman, so he always tries to give it to us professionally and in a gentleman way. So thank you for that, Enrico. And balanced, of course.
Don't forget, I am balanced.
So we've explored our physical well-being. We've also discussed our emotional well-being. We've talked about our spiritual. And the final pillar in our 4 pillars of well-being is mental. Now, Emane already gave us a bit of a insight into his mental when he said his mental is 9 out of 10. So his mental fortitude is there, is fortified.
Just need to work on my lingo on the way I speak.
Okay. So we're going to ask Emane that same question. If we were to do a self-assessment of yourself, and ask yourself the question, how am I feeling mentally? What is my mental being like? Going from excellent to good to okay to content to lacking. What would you say?
Can you imagine I said lacking?
It's about being honest.
Wow. No, I'll say it's good, innit? Because you said excellent and good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll both were good.
Okay. So what makes you say it's good?
I'll say it's good because I'm out here, I'm with you right now, and we're having a great conversation, you get me? We've had a great day.
Nice.
You get me? No, mentally, I feel like I've developed a long way still. From just like looking back at my videos like I used to do, there's been a lot of change in it.
Okay, so during the lockdown, have you gone through phases of anxiety, phases of depression? Have you had phases of hopelessness? Or you've always maintained a positive outlook? You've understood this situation, this current pandemic, as an opportunity to look at yourself and to look at coming out of it with a positive outlook, with growth, with development. How have you managed yourself in this current lockdown?
Well, in this current lockdown, you know what? It's been all of that happened to me like last year before lockdown.
Okay.
But through lockdown, it's just been even better because, like I said, getting that time to spend to myself and even meeting other people when I'm out there, it's been great because I'm learning off them and they're feeding back off me, innit?
Yeah.
So that energy is great. And I get to speak to them and just they'll tell me little things about them, and you know, sometimes you help them out just by telling a little thing about in your life or what you see. Do you get me? And that helps, and that puts a little smile on their face. And sometimes you just actually feel like, raw. There's a lot of people out here hurting, hurting. That's why they take drugs or they do what they do and they lash out. And especially during lockdown, you actually saw a lot of people lash out, and you start thinking like, raw. You know, people do need to talk. Tell the truth though. They need to actually communicate. And for me, I went through all of that way before lockdown, so I was happy because I was out there just chatting and having fun.
So that means for you, you were in a very positive situation whereby lockdown presented opportunity to see how far you've really come, and gave you an opportunity to see, can I really cope? Because you had previously in the years before been basically gone through whatever you needed to go through, had your ups and downs, and by the time lockdown came, you had that 9 out of 10 mental fortitude, that fortification to be able to deal with it and to have that outlook and that positive outlook on life. Okay, so that's good. Thank you very much for sharing, Enrico. So similar to the question I asked Emane, if you were to do a self-assessment and ask yourself the question, how am I feeling mentally? If I was to rate my mental well-being, what would it be? Excellent, good, okay, content, or lacking? What would you say?
Excellent.
Oh, that's a 10 out of 10, my G. My guy saying the mental is solid. So solid. You understand?
So solid crew, yeah.
So that's very good to hear. That's got me feeling really, really bubbly. I'm so damn bubbly.
So damn bubbly.
So
I'll tell you why.
Jeez, get me. My guy, I'll tell you what.
That's me. Now,
before I even ask, why do you say that? He said he would tell me. Go ahead, my G. Yeah.
Well, a wise man builds his house upon the rock. And I have built a solid foundation in terms of my sort of principles, core beliefs, philosophy. As such, when lockdown came, you know, at first it comes, you feel change out of your comfort zone, and it shocks you.
Yeah.
But I looked at it in two ways. Like, you can either make the most of a situation you've been put in out of your control, or you can not make the best of it, which is worse. You know, the choice is yours. And what I've tried to do is
make the fucking most.
Well, yeah. He said it perfectly for me. And no one's perfect. You know, it's not been perfect throughout.
Yeah.
You know, there has been dips and there has been ups.
Yeah.
But overall, you look back, definitely improvement. And I would say a good benchmark of life and what I do every year, especially around my birthdays. Yeah. It's kind of like a annual review for myself. You know, so I think, have I made progress? Yes, I have. And if you have, you can be very happy for it.
I hear you, bro. Thank you very much for sharing. So, as Enrico said, his mental wellness is excellent, 10 out of 10. And he explained why. He set a solid foundation in place, like the house built on solid rock. His principles, his core beliefs are set and solid. So by the time lockdown came and the pressures that came with lockdown and the impact it had on our mental wellness and well-being collectively as a nation, as the entire world, in fact, he was already prepared to deal with it. He mentioned it's not been perfect. That's the word. The word perfect is an illusion anyway. There is no such thing.
Indeed.
You can get close to perfection, but you will never attain it. Facts.
It's too subjective.
Exactly. And it's open to interpretation. On top of that, he had his ups and he had his dips. And it's being aware that this is how life goes. Like vibrational frequencies modulating peaks and troughs, such as the duality of our existence, sweet yet tough, euphoric, sometimes rough. That's life. So as you continue to go through lockdown, when you're on your highs, enjoy it to the fullest.
Trust.
And when you're having your lows, be present in your moment, knowing that it's just temporary. You shall have your highs again. Be always prepared for the worst, because when it comes, it's always going to be fleeting anyway. So Today's episode has been brilliant. I've been waiting for this one, to be able to get these two different individuals to sit down and express how they're feeling. Yo, Mr. Professional, Gentleman and Balance, Mr. Loyal Father, and knows the streets. You understand?
Good one, huh?
To open up and talk to me, to you, the listening audience, it's been a privilege. And hopefully you got some insights into their belief system, into them as individuals, as human beings. And also you got some lessons on how to also approach some of the life challenges that you're going to face when you go through your journey of life. But as Emane said, we're going to find out the third thing about himself throughout the end of this episode. And we're coming to that time. So man like Emane, what's that third thing about yourself that we were supposed to wait and find out? Are you going to tell us now, or we still have to wait?
I'm ready to tell you.
All right.
So, third thing about me is I can design games, you get me? So, I will be letting you guys know soon that there will be a game coming out. I'll let you know the name and everything. You have to stay on this channel to find out.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know all the details and how to get it all purchased, alright?
I say nothing. So the third thing about Emane is, obviously he's a games designer. He designs board games, and he's got one coming up real soon. It's got the prototype ready. We're testing it before it comes out to market. Cheese! And it helps with the mental. It helps with your wellness, and it helps with your well-being. So you get to find that out soon. So this episode with Emane and Enrico at a podcast called Eti Sen. Eti Sen is always the first question we ask. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening. Emane and Enrico, thank you. It's been a privilege having you as guest. But before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'm good for now.
Yeah.
I'm not eager to smoke my spliff right now. I felt a bit heated. It's been a while since I've been on the talk show like this. So
So. Thank you for expressing yourself, man. As I said, it's been a privilege, isn't it? Enrico, anything else from you you'd like to add?
Well, I may settle for a brandy, but thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for that.
I await an invite.
Yeah.
For the next.
Say that, man. If you're looking to go to the next one, then that's already set, man. Thank you very much. This has been a podcast called Eti Sen. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace and love. Look after yourself and always ask yourself, Eti Sen.